I've made quite a few of dueling roller coasters over the years in Planet Coaster 1. Today I'm going to show you some tips and tricks and how I make dueling roller coasters to help you in the future if you consider making one. Now it is also very likely that this will be applicable in Planet Coaster 2 unless they do a complete overhaul of the coaster building system. So unless that's the case, it's applicable for both Planet Coaster 1 and 2. In this video I'm going to show you how to make a dueling coaster. So the first step is picking your coaster. There's so many coasters to pick from. So I am going to pick the Typhoon Infinite, which is very similar to the Crazy Looney Tunes. So I'm gonna pick this one. So you're gonna need obviously two coasters. Now there's different things that you can do, as in placing it down. So you can place it side by side, something like that, or even behind each other, or on top of each other. But in this case I have side by side, so I have a little bit of space in between, so there's gonna be no issues with not being able to build the coaster because the coaster station is obstructed. So I'm having a little bit of space in between. And now the first thing that you want to do is you want to look at where your queues are located and where your people get in and out. So people are getting in on here, but there's no way that you can build a queue on this side. So you're gonna have to switch the station, switch the enter and exit of the coaster train from the left to the right, and by that way you've got an entry and an exit here and an entry and an exit here, and you don't have to switch it out once you build the coaster. So that will be my first step, and you can do that by clicking on the station. Oh, come on. Clicking on the station and then swapping it to using these buttons. So you want in and out on the same side, same as this one. So now you've entry and exit on the same side, just as this one. Now you're going to want to put the entrance and the exit down first, and a quick tip: if you put the entry and the exit down somewhere in the middle where the people are going to enter, somewhere here, and the exit where the people are going to exit, somewhere here, because they come out of here and they go in through here. That way you got faster flow of people and coaster cars will be able to leave faster. And if you're doing, for instance, a scenario, you'll be able to make a little bit more money by just doing this small step. I'm gonna quickly chuck down some paths. Now we know that the queues you can set up and the paths you can set up and the coaster stations. The next step is linking the coasters together so that once one goes, the other one goes as well. And you can do that by clicking one of the two coasters. It doesn't matter which one it is. I'm gonna click the right one. Then you go to Operations and then click Create Coaster Train. And then you're gonna select the other coaster by just dragging a little square. And then you press Confirm. And now you can see Infinite 1 and Infinite 2 are together in one coaster chain. So to make it even clearer, I'm going to rename Infinite 1 to Book and Infinite 2 to Hool. Book Hool. Haha, funny. I know, what can I say? Book Hool. So you got Book and you got Hool. And now when I press Start, the coaster trains will leave at the exact same time, as you can see. So yeah. Now the first thing is you want to, if you decide to have a launch, do you want the launch to be on the same track? Or do you want the launch to be on separate tracks? Or are you wanting to do a chain lift? With launching on the same track or on a separate track, I mean, let's say this is a launch synchronous motor, so the launching. What I mean with having it on the same track or having it on a separate track is if you make one coaster go straight and you allow the other coaster to join the same track, by doing something like this. There we go. So this is what I mean with having them launching at the same time. So you can launch them together on one track, or you can launch them together on separate tracks, which is this way. I'm not gonna do that now. I want these to be launched on the same track. So I'm just gonna leave it as is. Now, if you start both coasters at the same time, you're going to see that they will crash right into each other. That looks a little bit silly. So what we want to do is we want to have one coaster go faster than the other, but end up with the same speed, so they're on the same track. So I'm just gonna bring this coaster track on 8 meters and do a 90-degree angle, and then go straight for 2. 8 meters, 90-degree angle, and then straight for 2. And I want to realign them just a little bit better. There we go. All I've done is I moved them a little bit, so they're a little bit out of sync there, but that's absolutely fine. That's just so you can get the exact same length. So what you can do is you can change the exit speed of the station. If you have one coaster train leaving faster than the other one, this one will arrive at this point later than this one will. So if you keep one of the exit speeds on 14 and you keep the other one, you change the other exit speed to half that speed, let's say 7. Let's see what happens. And all you have to do is just trial and error. So you change a little bit of settings. See, this one is leaving faster now. And you can see it's now in front of the other. But now this one doesn't have enough speed to keep up with this one. This one is still going faster than this one. So what you want to do, you want to change it and you put in some drive tires. And drive tires, you can keep both tracks on the same speed. So let's say I want both trains to go at 11.25. So I've got some drive tires there at 11.25. Change these ones, drive tires at 11.25. And now let's see what happens. One is leaving fast, slower than the other one. And now they're going at the exact same speed. So there's a little bit of space between them. Now we run out, obviously we run out of drive tires, but let's replace all of this by drive tires. 11.25 drive tires. These ones as well. Drive tires. Let's see what this looks like now. One leaves faster than the other one, and they're both on 11.25 drive tires. This one actually isn't. I just realized this. Now it is. My apologies. Alright, let's see. Faster than this one, and they both are on 11.25 drive tires. And now they both maintain their speed. And now you see you've got 2 trains on one track. How cool is that? So that is the first part of the coaster. You just play around with leaving the station and getting them all lined up before you start working on your workout. So you can, even if you, let's say you put them on top of each other, you want to bring one down and one up, or you just bring one down, that then needs to go braking because that goes faster than the other one. So the first step is getting your coasters lined up, making sure that they do what you want to do at the start, because if you muck up the start, the rest is going to be really, really hard to synchronize. So the start is crucial. I'm just going to place these down again, because I moved the station, so it's slightly off. There we go. Alright, let's set up the launching sequence. Now I've wanting to have both my coasters launch at the exact same time. So I've put in little timing break sections before launch, and I've synchronized them with the speed that they arrive. So what I've done is I have this piece, this particular piece. Come on, it's so much harder to select now. They're on top of each other. It's called an LSM holding section, and it stops the coaster and then it launches it forward. So I've put this one on 4 seconds hold and then speed settings. And the other coaster, let's see if I can select it. There you go. Also LSM holding section, 3 seconds and the same speed settings. That is because I want the coaster at the front arrives about a second earlier than the other one. So I want it to be holding a second longer so that they launch at the exact same time. When you look at them now, they stop. And then they launch at the exact same time with the exact same speed. And that is what I wanted to achieve. Now I didn't want a flat launching section. I want the launching section to be a little bit upwards and then yeah, on a little bit of a slope. So what I'm going to do is I have the back one selected at this moment. It doesn't matter which one you do first. So here they are at the exact same length. I would highly recommend working on angle snap so that you can put the pieces at the exact same time on top of each other. So I'm going to work with a 10 meter 22.5 degree slope, and then I'll bring it down, and then I'll bring it up again. This is my launch section. Now the other coaster, doing the same thing, 10 meters, 22.5 degree slope, same speed as the other one. Bring it up, down, and on top of each other. Now they're at the exact same spot. So when both coasters are going now, let's see what it looks like. They're coming in, they're stopping, they're leaving at the exact same time, and they have the exact same speed. This is how you set up a synchronized launch. If you do a chain lift, it is much easier and you just synchronize the chains at the exact same speed. So you're just gonna have to play around with, if you use a launch, how long you want to hold the train for, and if you use a chain lift, what the speed of the chain lift is. For instance, if the back car is behind the first car, you want the back car to make up some momentum, you're gonna have the chain lift speed increased so that it catches up with the front car. Now they're launching at the exact same time, and now you can continue with the layout of the coaster. Alright, the next thing you want to do is you want to see what you want to do with the end bit and how you want to detach these two coasters from each other. I'm thinking, because I'm wanting to put in some kind of loop or a roll. So I think this looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it this way. So that's one. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with the other one. Loops. And then this roll. And then keep it the exact same size. Let's see. About there. So it still looks like one track, but there's two coaster trains going on top of each other. Let's see if they can actually make the roll. Here they go. There we go. And from this point onward, I want them to split. So I'm now got the right coaster train selected. And I want that one to go to the left. I'm going to now, because they're splitting, making a little bit of a straight section. Something like that. I'm going to turn off angle snap. And from now on, I'm going to work without angle snap because they are a little bit more individualized now. So I'm going to bring this one to the left. Something like that. A little bit. I'm not going to bank it now because otherwise it will look very silly. I want it to look a little bit more realistic. Then bring this one to the left. And now once it separates, I want to bank it. And then the other one. Bring it a little bit to the right. Keep it on the same height. Like that. So it just looks like a split. And now I can bank it. If I were to bank it all the way here, you would have never had a perfect interaction here. It would have all looked wonky and unrealistic. I mean, this is very unrealistic, but you know what I mean. So now they both look something like this. Which I think looks very cool. It looks like a scorpion's tail or something like that. And that should do the trick. There we go. Now I want one coaster to go one way and then the other coaster to go the other way. And then I want them to interact with each other. So I'm gonna bring this one this way. It doesn't matter, you don't have to work on the grid anymore. It's very frustrating. So I'm gonna bring this one in and then make it come back up. Something like that. And then let's say I want them to roll towards each other. That would be very cool. Let's see if we can make that work. This looks too close by. I'm gonna roll them underneath the track. Or I'm just gonna stick them on one side, otherwise the blueprint will become very big. So I'm gonna bring this one in. And that's just going to do a little bit of a twisty here. Obviously it looks like it goes very slow, and it does. The G-forces will probably be very crazy. But what you do is, once you build a little bit of a section, you just smash the smooth hull. You smash it. And then you smash it. And then you smash it. And I really hope Planet Coaster 2 will be a little bit easier. See, I'm only doing 2 pieces at a time. And I'm using generally large pieces. Because I think it will creates the smoothest experience. Let's see if this one rides this. Oh, that's the wrong coaster. This will probably look very Yankee. Let's have a look. See, one coaster is leaving in front of the other one. This looks very cool, I have to say. It does look like a cobra, a scorpion's tail. Oh, wrong coaster. That looks pretty good. A little bit Yankee, so I'm gonna just bring it a little bit lower. Now this side, I want it to come back into this direction. So I want this one to interact with this one. So I'm just going to bring this section up a little bit. And you'll see why. I want this coaster to swirl back and then come up here, come up through here, and then they'll join together on this side. Now just make sure that you keep smashing the smooth all button. There we go. We're starting to have some dueling action already. This coaster, however, is a lot faster here than I anticipated. So I'm going to want to extend this so they're here almost at the exact same time. Right, I extended it a little bit, created some height. Let's see if they interact now. That's it. That's much better. Very cool. Not forgetting to smooth it out. In this tutorial, I don't really care about G-forces or something like that. I just want to make something that looks pretty cool. And show you how to make a little bit of... how to make the coasters interact with each other. So now we have something like this. The coaster chains have separated, gone their own way, and now they're merging together again. I mean merging together, I mean coming together. It is always good to keep the coasters a little bit of a similar length, something like this, as you can see. Let's see if there is a coaster that is faster than the other one. I think the left coaster is faster than the right. Oh, this is very good. This is not too bad. What I can do if I want them to align up a little bit better is bring the right coaster, give the right coaster a little bit more track so it delays and then lines up better with the left coaster. But you can also decide to leave it the way it is and have the interaction the way it is being done now, so that one coaster is still faster than the other one, because one coaster is ahead of the other one on the track. So this is one example of how to make the coasters interact with each other. There is a lot of other things you can do. I am going to continue a little bit of building. I'll probably speed up the time, and then I'll show you later, and I'll talk you through how I have done this and how I have made the interactions with each other. Alright, I have spent this took about 10 minutes to make, so I added this whole section to it. And I'm going to show you the POV, and you can see that there is indeed some dueling going on. It might not be the smoothest coaster because I've not really ridden it yet. I don't know what the POV will be like. So we're just gonna check the first POV. Oh, wrong. We're gonna check the first one, the right one, and then we check the left one. You can see they leave at the exact same time. The other one is just right behind you. So some of these might obviously, like, this is not realistic by any chance. I'm just going for the experience. So all this coaster is very close to you, but it doesn't really matter. It's just to explain. There we go. I'm quite happy with that. So the first section, I call this the first section, that will be a second section, is the first coaster. The right coaster is a little bit more ahead than the other one. Let's jump on this one. You can see this coaster is a little bit behind the other one, so you'll be able to see more of the other coaster with this turn. But the first coaster ends up behind the second coaster after the first section. So in the second coaster you'll be able to see more of the first coaster in the second section. It's very complicated, but I hope you know what I mean. So I think this looks really cool. There you go, you separate from each other. There you go, some nice, this is really cool dueling. Some good interaction. Obviously that looks very, very Yankee. I'm not happy with that. I'm gonna do a couple more changes. This is good. Much better. This was also very... Where was it? Right here. Go. Do a little bit of work on this one. Some smoothing. Some spamming the smooth button. That's all it really is. Just spamming the smoothing button. You see, I don't do small sections. I grab at least 2 pieces to smooth. Right, that's much better. Let's see what this looks like. Some nice interaction with each other. Twisting on top. Going down. Yeah, this is very cool. I like that. This is much better. Cool. Well, that's the first section. And the POVs. And now I will build a little bit more and I'll show you the end result. Alright, I have finished the second section, and let's just have a look at the POVs and see what it looks like. Actually, first I'll show you a view from the outside so you can see the dueling elements, and then I'll show you the POV of both coasters. We can actually do a cinematic view of these. That might be cool. Let's have a... This looks cool. This way you get to see both coasters interact with each other. Some really cool interaction going on. Quite happy with this. I've smoothed the coasters out a little bit more as well, so they look much better. There's some really cool interaction. They twist over each other, and then they obviously have to switch sides because this coaster station is on the other side compared to the other one. And yeah, although one arrives later than the other one, that's not really, and doesn't really matter, to be honest. Alright, I'm just gonna chase them down this way, so we can see both coasters better. Just speed up this. Alright. I really like this, how they go up to there and then split up. We've got interactions. Here we got twisting around each other. Some more interactions, and then you can, from both POVs, you'll be able to see that soon. You see the other coaster train very well, which is what I really like. And that's it. Short but sweet, but I wasn't going to make anything very complicated, so yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm just gonna show you the POVs now, and then talk a little bit more about it, some more tips, something that might be useful. Let's do seat view. So this is the left coaster station. Eventually it all comes down to playing around with brakes in between, and if one coaster is behind the other, you shorten the length of some of the corners to so you reduce the length of the track so that it has less track to travel on, and then it catches up with the other coaster. You can really see that for the first half this coaster is in front of this train, and for the second half this coaster is behind of that train. So you get to see both perspectives, behind and in front of the train, which is something I always try to aim for, that from both coaster POVs you get to see the other coaster. So yeah, that is how to make a dueling coaster. Now some more tips and tricks. If you realize, because it can become a bit of a spaghetti mess, like as you see here, I do like to build a little bit compact so the blueprint isn't too big. But what you can do is obviously use a different coaster type that can make sharper corners and better turns and twists. That way you can reduce the size of the blueprint. Another tip I would say is don't go on the POV too much. Just look from, like, observe how they interact with each other. If you can see that they interact with each other quite well, like this, I can see that they're interacting with each other, you'll have a very high chance that the POV will be really good as well. Also, if you do a loop for one coaster, make sure that the next coaster then also does some kind of feature. So that it's not just one coaster doing loops and turns and the other one's just running around the other coaster. The other tip I would give, particularly at the end, make sure that your right coaster ends up on the right side and your left coaster ends up on the left side. Otherwise you're gonna design something that works very well but ends up on the other side where they have to be, and then in the end you're gonna be like puzzling around on how to make sure that the right coaster ends up on the right and the left on the left, and it can become really messy really fast. Otherwise, just if you got any more questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this sort of stuff, let me know as well, and I can show you some more. There's some other dueling coasters that I've made in the past that I will be showing off. But yeah, this is how you make a dueling coaster. This is how I make a dueling coaster, and it's worked out really well for me. Please consider liking and subscribing and all the good stuff. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.